So we created the backend API requests for handling the complete application, right? So all the API methods are ready. Now we need to create the front end. That means we need to design the front end application user interface with the React. We have to design the front end user interface with React. Let's see how we can implement this. So what are the options and how we manage? For that, first we will create the basic application here. We will create a project, a new project I am creating. From the command prompt in my drive, I am creating npx create React app, and I am creating a React application. So by name, some video tutorial. That is the application. So we are creating a empty React application newly because our previous React app have a lot of things inside. We will create a separate React application for that. So this is the video tutorial. So in this, we need to set up the environment for working with our backend APIs. So meanwhile, we will see what we are planning to design, right? So let it create first, taking time. Okay, so it is creating a new application for us. So first we will create a new React application. This is npx create React app, and the name video tutorial is the name we are giving. Now in this, after creating this, the basic libraries we need here. What are the basic libraries we need is, so install the following libraries in for libraries for project. So what are the libraries we need for project? Because this is the application. After you create the application, you need to open that application and you need some libraries. And what are the libraries you need? npm install. One is you need Axios. Axios, this is for communicating with the data APIs, right? And another one, npm install, we need Formic. Formic is for creating the forms. And you need npm install. So yup is for validations. For validations, you need this yup. And npm install React router DOM. You need to install React router DOM library also. This is for routing. For creating and configuring the routes, you need this. So that is the library. Anything else we need extra? Bootstrap. We need a Bootstrap and icons. npm install Bootstrap and npm install Bootstrap icons. I will show you material also now in the after creating the primary design. We will learn how to use React material. How do we work with React material? So initially these are enough. Anything else required, we will install later. Server side API is there already. That is present in another project. What we have to do is we have to start that separately and this separate, because two applications. One is server side application, another one client. We are using distributed architecture. So here Bootstrap icons. Okay. Still creating. So after setting up in our project, by default, app component is in startup. By default, one component comes and that component is app. In that app component, we will leave it like that as startup component. In that we can design the complete routing if we want. So look at the app, how it have the content, what content it is having. First we will see. Okay, so our application is ready. Let's start this application. So in our Visual Studio Code, let's open it. I will open the folder. We just created here a video tutorial. Okay. So now let's start this. You know that the startup component will be app component. So it will start with index app component npm start. So by default, app component will start with some default content. What we will do is we will create the design according to our application requirements. We will not disturb the startup. Startup is app component, but the screen that it gets, we will change app component. So what we will do here, so we will try to install some more libraries for styling. npm install bootstrap and save. And another one, bootstrap icons also we will keep and save. Okay, so let's go now. And in this, we need routing related also. Let's add them. npm install react router dom. React router dom. So let's add npm install axios formic. I'm installing this axios library also. Then npm install formic, and for validation, so we will set up npm install yup and save. All the basic libraries I have installed. Yeah. So what we will do now here, let's go to the app. We will go to SRC. In SRC, because the startup is app component, first we will go to index. Index, we can see that app is in the startup. Now here we will use few things. What is import and dot slash, it is from node modules, bootstrap, dist, css, and in that bootstrap.css. That is one thing we need. Another import, so node modules, bootstrap icons, in that font, in that bootstrap icons dot css. These two styles we need. Now let's go to the app component. App component is in the startup. So app.js, here it is having lot of design. And actually it is getting the styles from app CSS. You see app CSS is already having some content. It is having some header, footer, so much is there. Actually, these are nothing but animations, effects, styles given for that component. We will keep it according to our design, right? Because that is the basic design it is having. Right? Then I will clean up this all CSS, and I will go to the JS. I will clean up all this container it is having. We know that we need only one container here. And because we are using Bootstrap, what it is? Container fluid, I will add fluid. So that is the empty screen we are having currently now. Now let's create a basic design here. This is the project. In this project, we will create first a header part. In this header, I will keep a div or a heading. This is suppose some tech videos. Some tech videos is the library. And here we will give an option. Let's keep this in one div, tech videos. Okay. And in another div, I will give an option like a button. So we will give as a sign in. So class BTN and BTN, something like danger. Like this I define. All of them we will follow the same standard queries. Okay. Now this is the design we have, tech videos. And I will keep this container fluid here. So this is having the class. Okay. What is that class? It is just a display flex. Side by side we will keep. It's having some lag. Okay. So we will go here, and for header, we will keep class dflex, and we have just t5 content between. Okay. And we have some padding and BG, some dark text white. Okay. So this is the basic design we are having. And let's keep some margin top as 2. That's a simple basic level design we are having. At the top, we are keeping that. So right side, we can give the option sign in or anything else. If you want, you can keep. Like suppose user want to search for videos, but I don't want anything else. Just user need to sign in and access, right? So for the that is the sign in option, and rest here. After that, having a section. So for section, I will give in the section, I am giving here some main. I'm just giving a main area. And in the main area, we will keep one simple option, get started. That means we will create one function here. That is actually, yeah, heading like. So I will just give a heading, some learn and design something. And here, so we said watch videos. So learn some technology like this. So this is like option we are having, just paragraph and all. And let's keep a div here. And here I will keep a another div, so that I will add input type is equal to email. I will keep email. And here we will add a button. So class BTN and BTN danger. And we will keep it as span class. So BI and BI chevron right. And here I just added get started and BTN LG. Not required here LG. We will keep this as input group. So this is the class name as form control. Form control. Okay. And this is the class name we have for input group. Input group. This is the basic design we are having. Okay, that is the design we are having. And what we will do is for section. So class dflex and justify content center. Align items center like this I define. Now what we will do here is we will keep a simple style. So height as 100 viewport height. Is this enough? Let's see. Here we are having like this. Okay. That is the option we are having. This is the original design we are having. So this is a section. We have the section. And we have, this is okay. That is one value. And we have width. Width as suppose 50 viewport width. So it is having same actually. Flex is not there. Yeah, here it is okay. VH is nothing but viewport height. Viewport height means how much height your screen is. Based on that, it will keep. That means if you are watching on mobile, it will fit to mobile screen height. You are rotating portrait, it will fit to portrait height, landscape height, like that. Viewport height, that is. Now what we want here is the functionality is same. Means this is the basic screen we created. Now, who can watch the videos? People who have the account, they can watch our videos. So now first, how they start? If they have an email account, then what we will do? So we will take means they are already registered, means they will go to sign in. Now they enter here some email and click get started. If already that email is registered, then we will display password. If not registered, we will put a message saying that this email is not registered. Do you want to register? So how do we do that? So whatever email you entered here, we need to verify whether this email is taken in the users list. Users list is in our database. That means whatever email entered here, we have to verify whether that email is taken by any user in the users table. Users table is there in our, and if it is taken, then it should next go to login. Right? If it is not taken, then it should go to register. That means it should say that this is not taken, register. Now we need to design two screens here. That means what we have to do now is we need to write the logic for this. So what is the logic is, first point is we need to fetch the data from API and verify whether the email they entered is matching with this or not. That when they click get started, it is there in the users or not. So let's go and create one components now. In SRC, we will add a new folder by name components. In the components folder, we will add some components. What are the components? Directly, I will add folders, or we can add files directly. Simple JSX files. If you need CSS for different, then obviously you need to maintain a separate folder for that. So first one, what we will do is we will give a login component. So let's add a folder login, and we will add another folder. Another folder is actually, so this is we will give as unregistered. Unregistered is one component and login is another component. Login will come when he have an account. So that means if already have an account, he will log in. Then unregistered means he is not registered. If he is not registered, we will take him to this screen, right? So now what we will do is here, we will add one component file. So this is login.jsx. We will add another file, and this is unregistered dot JSX, unregistered JSX, login JSX. These two are there. First, I will create a basic design. So export, so function and login, and it should return a simple presentation. We will put a heading. So user login. That's what we will give. Actually, in the main page, there is another option. What is in the main page? Actually, this is sign in. Two people are there. This is a user sign in, and you will have another button. So class name, BTN and BTN danger. This is admin sign in. Sign in. We have two options actually. User sign in, admin sign in. So margin S2, little gap. Because admin sign in can directly go to the videos. He can directly go to the videos, and he can modify the videos, update the videos, delete the videos. Those functionality we must provide to that user. User login. So after successful login, we will give a option. Okay, now we have two important options. One is login, another one unregistered. Login, I just kept a heading. Similarly, unregistered, export function unregistered, and it will return a simple container. And here I will just give as. So we will just give an option unable to find your account like this. So we will define. So we will keep an anchor for, we will keep a span, just we will keep as register. We will keep it just a span register. This is option we are defining. Okay, this we will make it as a link and functional later, right? We will do that. As of now, two screens are there. Now, one more important is, so if that email is already taken, then we will say that enter your user ID password. We need to take them to login screen. Okay. Okay. So now, how many ways the login should come here? That means user clicks on sign in, user clicks on admin sign in, user clicks on this get started. Here that come. Here we want to display the login area. That means this is the area. Yeah. You see, this is the area where content will be changing. That is the area where content will be changed. That means it is not standard. So initially, the main component will come. Later, situation wise, the components will be changing in this area. By default, if we don't request anything, which component will come? Main component is going to come. So if you know that this component is not standard because it is changing, because the main will go and videos will come, the main will go and login will come, everything should open here. That means now we need to manage this also as a separate component. We need to manage that also as a separate component because that area keeps on changing now, right? In that case, what we will do is cut this we will just keep an ordinary div here. Now what we will do is we will manage another component. We will add a component. What is it? Main component. Okay. And we will add here a new file, main component dot JSX. In that we have an export. So export function, and function is main component. And this main component have to return this main. It should return this main. That's it. The main area it should return. Now here, what we will do is, here we will configure routes. Let's say here we are configuring the routes. Let's go into the main component, app.js. Here we will define the routes. How to configure the routes? That means we have to use a browser router. That means this app should completely use routing now. If it should completely use routing, then you know what to do. This entire area we will keep in browser router. Am I right? We will use a browser router here. Entire area is defined. That means we need to import that browser router. So import. So we have browser router. So from which one? React router DOM. We need to import the browser router. In the browser router, we have to design this complete area. We have to design this complete. And here we are configuring the routes. We are configuring the routes. So I need to import the routes, and we need to configure route, and we need to configure a link. These are the basic things we are having. In the routes, we have to define one option is route. What is the basic route? So the route initially, what is it? Path. Route path. What is the route path? The route path is nothing but if it is slash, means user is not requesting anything. Then element. What is the element to render? Which element should render? By default, main component should render. If user is not requesting anything, main component should render. That means now you can see here the main is coming. If user is not requesting anything, the main component will come. Okay. Next what? Next is nothing but if user requests route path as /login, then which one should come? So element, it should return which element? So login component should come. Login should come. And when user requests another path, here temporarily I am using unregistered. And which element to come? We need to get the element. So what is that element? Is unregistered. That element should come. Unregistered also must be in the path. Whatever elements you want to bring and show there, they must be in the routes configured. Now what happens here is these buttons, actually we make them as clickable. That means usually this is a link. This is not a button, this is a link, but having a button appearance. What this link will do? Link to home / what is it? Login. For admin login, we will create a separate login screen. For admin login, we will create another login. This is user login. So this becomes you can see it is a link, but looks like a button on. When user sign in, then that user login will come. It is going to bring that information. So you want to go to the main page. So you want to go to the main page. Actually, I can make this clickable. Suppose if I want to make tech videos clickable, then what you can do is we can make it as what? Link. Link clickable, and it should link to slash. Slash is nothing but home. That means usually these tech videos. So wherever anchor is there, we will put here. So color as white, and text decoration we will keep as none. That means it is going to remove underline for links, and it should display in a normal way. Some problem. We are importing that app.css is importing. So class name text white. Okay, fine. So we have a text decoration, none. Okay, fine. I don't need this CSS now. Okay. So now you can see this is how it looks. But when I click on this, I will get the main. That means user can get the sign in and user can get the main. Usually brand names and all user clicks, then it will get the main option. Okay. Now what we need to do here is we need to write the logic for main. So that means in the main, this is main component. In the main component, when user enters email and click get started, we have to verify whether this email is already present in our database or not. Then what we have to do, let's go to the main component. And here we need to write the logic. Logic for this button click. So now here we need to communicate with the backend API. Get the user's information, verify whether email is present or not. Then we want to handle it. Let's see how we can do. For that, make sure that your backend API is started. Because if API starts, then only you can handle it. So it is present in a separate location. I will open, because I don't need to open Visual Studio. From command prompt itself, I can start the API. I will do that. It is in a folder called React ERP. That is our project folder actually. In this React ERP server, here we are having the API, right? All the code is present in this, not this one. This is not that. It is in E drive. Yeah, E drive we are having. In that server, we are having video API. Okay, let's open that in command prompt. And let's start the server. So node video API dot JS. Make sure that it is running. So once the server started, because that API is a Node.js server side application, you can just run from the command terminal. Okay, server started, and let's keep it minimized. Okay, you can test, is it working or not, because you know the address. What is the address? I'm requesting it here. It's taking long. Some background process is slow. Taking too long. Let me check that. So it is 5,000 and users. Huh? Yeah. This is the data. It's an users array which returns user. Now, two users' emails are already registered, David Gmail and Kiran Outlook.com. Two users are there. Now, any of these emails matching found, then it should ask continue login. Now enter your user ID, password, and others. If not, then it should say that unable to find your account, please log in. Please register. Okay, so let's write the logic for that. Now we need to do that on this button, click. So we need to fetch the data from the API. So you need some libraries here. We have to import. So Axios. So from Axios, that is the library we need to communicate with APIs. And because only one button is there, you don't need any formic. Only one button, one text box. So we don't need anything. And we need to import state. So use state. So that is from React. Okay, let's configure the state. So constant, in that we are configuring users and set users. This is use state. So we are accessing array of users. Users is an object which contain lot of details. Now what we need to do is, in this, when user clicks the button, so we will write a function. So handle get started click. So we have to handle get started click. So this method must be accessed on the button click. Button on click is equal to handle get started click. Okay, on that what we have to do is, first we have to get the username which they entered, email that they entered in the text box. Because I am not using any formic, then I need to create another constant user email, and we need set user email. And this is coming from, so this we use state email is a string type. That's an empty string. And whenever user types email, we will store that. So what we will do here, so we will define a function handle email change. So E, and we will get set user email E dot target dot value, whatever value entered in the text box. So here you have to use on change. You know that you need two-way binding. That means handle email change. Okay. Now, after collecting the email, that is actually user email, we need to verify when they click this button. When they click this button, we need to get all the users that are present in the database. Then what you can do, we can use an Axios, and Axios method. Method is what? Get. Get from which URL? Get from the URL http://127.001:5000/users. That is the URL. So that is the URL we need to access. After that, after accessing the users, that means we have the option like this is what then function. After accessing, then we have to use dot then. That means if it is successful, then what it is going to do? So it is going to get a response. And you know what that response contains. Initially, I will log the response, console.log. I will log the response. So we will use response. Response dot what? Data. Response dot data is nothing but users. So if you are confident that data is already coming, then just what you have to do, set users. Into set users, you have to send what to send? Response. Response dot data. Set users, you need to send response dot data. All the response data is sent into that. Once you get all that information, that means users contain that information. Actually, we don't need to set. We can directly verify itself, because response data contains all the users information. Then what we have to do is, you can directly try here. What is it? So we can simply put a condition, like what is the condition here is, we can write a for. What is the option is var user of, what is the collection name? Collection name is what? Response dot data. That means from that every user information we can access. We will write a condition. If user dot email, that every user email is matching with user email that we entered in text box. If it is matching with user email entered in text box, if it is matching with the user email you entered in the email box, then what should happen? Then we will do one thing. We will put a message. So we will create another one, constant set error. This is error, and we have set error. So use state, and error is initially empty. And what we will do here, we will say set error. Set error is nothing but we will display a message. So what is that message. Yeah, your wish. What it is taken. We can display message there, but we decided to redirect to unregistered component. So we can display message itself here. But what we designed a component. We have to take to that component. Which component? Unregistered component. Because if it is found, then it should redirect to login. If it is not found, we should redirect to unregistered. That's the point we need to do. So if username email is matching, means it is found, then we will redirect to login. If you want to redirect, then you don't need any error messages or anything to show. That you can, if you want to show there itself some messages. These are not required then. Then what you can do now? So we have to dynamically handle the route by using import. We have to import use navigate. Use navigate from React router DOM. Use navigate from React router DOM. So here we are creating a constant, that is navigate is equal to what? Use navigate. Now what this use navigate allows to navigate. So here, if it is matching, then navigate to which location? Navigate to which path? We have to mention the path. What is the path? Navigate to login. Because we found that email is already there, then we will navigate to login. And we will put a break. That's what we need to do. Else what should happen? Else what should happen? Navigate. Navigate to which location? It should navigate to unregister. It should navigate to unregister. Make sure that these two paths are present in your app component. In the app component, make sure that those two routes are present. You cannot use routes which are not there in the routes. Unregister is the component and login. You cannot access any route which is not registered here. Make sure that all the routes that you are trying to use are configured. Right? Now, this is what we have to do. Right? Let's run this and see now. So that means we will see how it works. With the data, it should work, right? So now what we will do is here, let's go to the page. And in the page, we will enter some email address. Yeah, so here I will enter the email address. Email address, make sure that the email you are entering something not taken. Suppose I will just enter like sam@gmail.com. And I say get started. That means you click on that get started. Then it should verify from the database and it should get and display. It says unable to find your account register. Because there is no user taken with email Sam. Okay, let's try one more time. Let's go to the home and try another user. We have Kiran at outlook.com. So he is there. It is taken already. And you click on get started. Then it should go to login. So it's working fine. So we are verifying from the database. Is that user already have an email account? If it is already having an email account, we will ask him, okay, now login. Right? If you don't, then we will simply say that unable to find your account, please register. Right? That's a very simple point here. So now design you see here. From here, we will take forward for different. This is dynamic navigation, which I told you. Dynamic navigation means whether he will go to unregistered component or login component. That depends on whether account is present or not. Right now, remember, we are verifying with backend database, which is in MongoDB through a server-side technology, Node.js, with our own API. If any mistake is there in your API or database or anywhere, it will unable to handle. It's a very big hierarchy. You may think it's simple, but it's very complicated. It looks simple, but it's very complex hierarchy. Where the problem comes from, that's very important to identify. Until or unless you don't practice level by level, you can't handle this, because you will invest all the time in just understanding where the problem is, right? Because this requires complete idea on server side, backend, APIs, and all. This is generally manually done now. Actually, when you go to interviews anywhere, they will give ready-made APIs. They will say that all our data is here, you use it. You don't need to create database or APIs manually. You just need to use the APIs. They will say that design these screens, right? Now let's create the registration form. That means now what we need to do here, when user enters, suppose actually another user is there. Who is it? David Gmail. So I'm entering here. Suppose David at the net. I think today my system is hanging up. Let's check. Yeah. David at the net gmail.com. And if it is already there, then it will take too long. And you entered something. So something, suppose David _11 at gmail.com. That means you see, get started, unable to find your account. So we are just giving that option there, right? So now unable to find your account, register. And when I click on register, a registration form should come. So that means what we need to do now, let's go and add a component called register. And we will add a new, that is register.jsx. And let's create a function, export function register, and return a simple registration form. So we will create a registration form. Now you decide how to do, because you can use all your validations, formic. So, and you can manage. I will create a simple one. You put the validations and all, because you already learned them, right? I will keep register user, and let's create a, so here span, class name bi, some person fill. Actually, for this register, we need to keep in the app.js, we need to keep a route. So if route path is what? /register, then what is the element to be delivered? So that means element. What is the element to deliver? Register element to be delivered. That's the component. We need to configure that in the route. So unregistered.jsx, this register will become a link now. It will become a link. So, and in this link, and you have to import even to use a small link. So we have to import, so link, so from React router DOM. Okay, the link text should be register. Unable to find account and register. So when we go to the register, and you decide how you want to design your register form. We learned so many techniques, so many levels of designing a form. We learned. We can use an ordinary form, but everything we have to write, handle change, final change. Formic components we can use. Formic components means directly component and messages will be there, right? You decide how you want to create, because everything finally you need is the values coming from Formic. We values coming from the Formic, and we need to send it to our API. So we will go here and design a form. Suppose I am taking a shortcut technique. In shortcut technique, we have a Formic. Formic is the component. We need to import a. So import, we need Formic. So from so this is Formic. We need Formic component. Another one we need, another one is a form component, form, right? Yeah. And we need one more error message, na? Error message. So Formic, form, error message. This is Formic. And you know that in that Formic, you need to create a form. This is not HTML form. This is a Formic form, right? And here, what are the details? Actually, this is okay if you are simply managing some activities. But when user enters some user ID, I want lot of manipulations independently. When user enters any user ID, I have to verify this user ID taken or not. That user ID already taken, then I should show an alert saying that user ID taken, try another. If user ID is not taken, then it will should say available. You can use it. We have to do the same for email also. When they enter email, I have to verify email is taken or not. Because if that email is taken, then we should show an alert saying that this email is already registered by somebody. So much manual work is there. So many individual functions you need to write. Then this is not the point. Then what we will do is we will simply write the logic here. That means independently we can define. That means we are creating a form, and in this form, we will create a simple data list, right? Data term, and we will say user ID. Data definition, input type is equal to text. So another one is username, and data definition input type is equal to text. And another one is a password. So data definition input type is equal to password. So another one we are having, what is it? So email and mobile. So input type equal to email. Email, okay. And another one is, what is it? Mobile. So input type is equal to text, is equal to text. And let's keep a button in the form. And the button is, so that is register. Okay. So this is the form, BTN and BTN primary something. Now you can design all the content what you want here. Now this register option is important. I'm entering here. I'm saying that Sam and at gmail.com and say get started. And it says that unable to find your account, register. And I click on register, that register form should come. Oh, any problem? Where is that link? Click. Link 2 we haven't given. link to what? Slash register. Okay, now it is fine. So we will go to the main. I'm searching for some sam@gmail.com and it says you don't have an account and register, then register form should come. It's opening. Today some system is lagging. That's the reason. Okay, this is the register option here. So usually, so you are not having an account. So at gmail.com, that means it is going to so get me into this page, and from there it is going to get me to the register. And here we can enter the details. I am having some autofill data. That is the reason. So now here, when user tries to enter ID, here we can add some more functions. That means you are using register user. Okay, where is that register? Yeah, in this register. So here we will put a paragraph and say, so anchor. So already, so or say have account or existing user, something like this, existing user. Then what we do, login. And this is not anchor. We will keep here as what? Link. That is a link. Okay. And this link will say login. Login. And this link to just login. Just I'm giving all the features it is. Register. What is the point? Link is not there. So import. So link from React router DOM. So link is not imported. Fine. Now I entered this at gmail.com and click on get started and unable to find register, and you see login. It will get to the login. If already in that login, we will say new user register, right? We will navigate to and fro any place. Okay. Now let's say I am giving here registration form at gmail.com, and here in register, when user is typing the details, when user is entering user ID, I need to verify that user ID is already taken or not. That means I need to check from the database. I need to verify user ID as well as email. And you know, that's a simple process to do. What to do? So in the register, now we need to import this. So we need to import. So this is a use state and from React. Okay. Now we need to import Axios. So from Axios. Okay. Now we will go here and we will write the function. So what is the function is handle ID change. Handle ID change. We have to collect the ID what he is entering, and it should fire up when user is typing inside the text box. So on change. So we say handle ID change. We need to get the data from the users and we need to put some message. So constant and user error and set user error. By default, user error is empty. Right. Now here, what should happen? We have to use an access. So method is what get, from which URL you need to get http://127.001:5000/ what users. And we have to use then, and it collects the response. What we do here, we need to read every user for where user response dot if user dot user ID is matching with e dot target dot value. If it is matching with target dot value, then what should happen? If it is matching, then set user error saying that user ID taken, try another. That is the message we need to give. Else, what should be the message? That means after this, it should break. We will set a break. Otherwise, what should be the user error? User ID available. This message will come. And we can apply a constant, and what is it? So that is error class, set error class, and it is use state a string type. And what we will do is, if user ID is taken, try again, then set error class as text danger. Otherwise, we will set error class as text success. That is the message we are giving, and we will display that here in data definition. So this is what we want to display, user error. And here, what is the class name to apply? That will come from error class. Now what happens here is, now in the registration form, let's refresh this. And in the registration form, I'm entering some user ID, and it's a user ID available. I have a user ID called David_React. So David_React, it's a taken, try another. It is already in my database, it will display. So we are verifying while typing itself. So that means now I am writing some SAM. So, and I said some Java, something. Now you can see it is available. Suppose I am using something like some Kiran. It's still available. Who is that? Kiran_HYD. It is taken. It is going to display whether it is available or taken. Now what happens here is SAM underscore, and what we need to do, so some Java something. Similarly, we need to verify email also. You can do that now. That means we need to define the email also. We have to check the email with the same logic, right? While typing the email that you do, right? I will add some functionalities. I will leave some for you. You try, you implement them. Because I don't need to repeat the same thing again and again. You can write now. Now the point is how you finish the registration. Means collect all the data from the form and we need to submit. How? That means now how do you collect all the data from the form, whatever user is entering, how to collect all that information. So what we do, we need to create, we need to insert the data. Na? We need to create a constant. This user and set user. It is use state and user is an object which contains user ID, which is string, which contains username, that's also string, which contains password, a string, and which contains email, and which contains a mobile. Now, what we need to do is, because currently I am not using any formic, then ID change. On ID change, what we have to do, on ID change, set user. You know what to do. User ID should be what? E dot target dot value. What is username? Username is some user dot username, whatever username they entered. So what about email? Password. Password is user dot what? Password. What about email? Email is user dot email. We learned how to handle a form without formic like options. That means the next form you can create a formic form. So mobile, and how do we do that? User dot what? Mobile. The same thing I need to manage on every change. The manage on every change. Same form we will create with a formic shortcut, and we will see both techniques I will show you. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to write another function. What is it? Handle name change. Handle name change. Okay, in that what we have to do. So here user dot user ID. This will be coming from e dot target dot value. Okay, what is the next one? Next one is handle password change. Password change. So here you will get user dot username, and password will come from e dot target dot value. Okay, another one. Handle email change. So then you need to define here user dot email. User dot email. Sorry, user dot username only. Username. Okay. And here we will change. That is e dot target dot value. Okay, one more. Handle mobile change. Handle mobile change. That means here it is same user dot username, and mobile will have e dot target dot value. Okay, now one more is there. First we will link them up. So on ID change working fine. Here we have to use on change. On change is handle name change. Here on change. On change is what? Handle password change. We have on change. On change is what? Handle email change. Another on change. On change is what? Handle mobile change. Okay. On submit. So we have to use on submit. Handle submit. Now we need to call that function here. So the function handle submit. On handle submit, we need to use Axios. Axios method is this time post, because we are using a registration form. We have to post. Okay, into which URL? What is the post URL? Remember, HTTP 127.0.0.1 5000/register user. That is na register user only na. Yesterday we created requests. You noted down those requests. See once what is the request for adding new user, register user only now, right? Register user. In that we need to define, because if it is post, it is asking what is the data. Post is expecting data. Data is nothing but user. That means whatever user data is there, it is posted. This register user method is collecting the user information from where form body. Yesterday we written request.body. And in that they have the same fields, user ID, username, password, and it is going to insert. After this, what I will do is I will put an alert. I will put an alert saying that so registered successfully. After registering successfully, I will navigate to login screen. I will navigate to login screen. Then you need one more. What is it? So from React router DOM, use navigate. And you need a constant here. Navigate is equal to use navigate. Now, if registered successfully, then we will navigate. Navigate to which one? Login. It will navigate to login. After registered successfully, it should dynamically take us to that login screen. Let's see this register works or not. Now I am entering the user ID here, some Sam, it is available Java, and some Samson, something like this. And password is some sam@1122. Email is sam at some yahoo.com something. And mobile is +91. So +91, some 99234567810. Okay. I click on register after this. Then it should say registered successfully. And I click OK. It should take me to the login screen. So that means now in the database, it must be available. My screen is lagging. That's it, right? Let's go to the users. In the users, let's refresh and see. One more user must be there. So it is successfully registered in the API. Means in the database, the data is stored. That means your register option is working fine. You can check in the database. If it is in database, then only it is coming here. Right? That means the registration option is ready. So we created a simple register, and we have designed a simple verification. Now what should happen is user will log in with these credentials. Admin will log in with his credentials. And if user logs in, then we will show the videos only for preview. He can see them. But admin logs in, we will show the videos in editing mode. That means user must able to edit the video, delete the video, add new video. He should able to manage all the manipulation. That we will see tomorrow. So tomorrow we will continue this because we need to finish all the functionality. After I finish, I will upload this example. Half of we can't upload, right? After I finish, mostly by tomorrow we will finish. So if we can finish by tomorrow the design of end-to-end, then I will upload. Then into that we can add more features, means like state managements and cookies and other things we will add, right? But I will not upload this example now. After I finish tomorrow, I will upload that. Okay, tomorrow I'll continue that, right?